How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to Vintage Cars Ireland, and we have quite a bit of work to get through this week. So we have our blue 205 here, which we need to get a timing belt sorted in, which will be done maybe in another week or so, or maybe later down the line. We've also done so much progress with our red 205, so this is actually nearly ready for the road. Probably not this summer, but 100% next summer. We only have just a few little bits there to sort out with it, like your tires, and we also, in my last episode as well, or one of the previous episodes, we also need to get a slave cylinder into it. Here's our black 106 that we're also working on, so we have a huge amount of work to get through, and we have our lovely banner up there on the top of the garage. So we're not strictly a Peugeot garage, but we do have a lot of them. So here's my 106 that we do need to do quite a bit of work on to get it back onto the road. You can see the silver bit there. So this was all cut out and welded because there was a few holes gone through there, and that needed to be sorted. We got that all done, but you can see there's a lot of surface rust. I'll just show you here now how solid this is, just show you that it is done, and the quality of welding is very good, to be fair. So one of the issues that I'm dealing with here today and that I'll be fixing is rust. So what happens with underseal? So this car is entirely undersealed beneath it, and what happens is the water gets trapped under the underseal and it has nowhere to go. So I actually lifted up some of the underseal and it was genuinely damp under it, even though the car hadn't seen rain in over 2 months. It was garaged for a full month and it was still damp, which is absolutely crazy. And of course that is really going to drive your rust problems. So you're better off using a product like Owatrol, or just using an anti-corrosive paint, maybe zinc primer or something like that. Another issue I'm going to be tackling is the wheels. So what's happening is the wheels getting stuck slightly. It's not the worst, but it's also not ideal, and it could fail your NCT test, which is a car safety test which you need to pass or to have your car road legal in Ireland. So I'll be checking all the brakes, I'll be taking apart the calipers and freeing up the slider pins. They're probably seized with dirt or rust, dealing with that. And our CV boot here as well also has some cracks, so I'm going to have to get that replaced. Other than that, not too bad. All the mounts here are okay, all the bushings, no cracks that I could find anyway, at least. Some of the essential tools we're going to need to work with today is an angle grinder. We're also going to need a multi-drill with a wire wheel brush at the end of it, and we also have another attachment which is more of a wheel. And we're also, of course, going to need a mask, so you don't want to be breathing in all that rust, that dust, all those bad bits, so very essential. Alright, after a tough morning of it there now, so as you can see I've changed the attachment on my angle grinder now to more of a sandpaper one, so this will finish off any of the lighter bits that the angle grinder couldn't get at. So you can see here we got all the heavy bits off here, it's nice and shiny, just a little bit more to finish off, and then we're going to go ahead with that attachment on the angle grinder, and then we're going to finish off with any of the awkward corners with the wire brush. Now after getting all that done, here's a product that we use all the time. It's called Owatrol, and it's an oil base, and what you do is you apply this directly onto your metal, and that'll prevent it. Like, oil is the best thing for treating rust, and you will spread this on, it'll harden, and then there'll be a second layer which you'll see in a few moments. So we're going to get this on first, it hardens, and then give it a day or two to dry, and then we put on our second layer. Alright, that's all done. As you can see, it's all wet. So that is all treated, and we just need to let it dry before we can apply our other paint. So this is the big can, is the oil base, and now we have this kind of anti-corrosive paint base, and then you apply this and then you can actually paint directly over this. I'm going to go ahead, put it on, and then we're going to let that dry for another day or two. Alright, we got a lot done here, as you can see. Happy enough, it's looking like we can just paint over this now, and I also got, excuse the excessive amounts of copper grease there, I got a lot done with the brakes here as well. So what I did was I freed up the slider pins, I took out the pads and took out any dirt on the slider pins and greased that all up again. So they are moving a lot more freely now, and they should be okay, hopefully anyway. And we also have our CV boot here removed. I'm going to have to cut that off and remove the CV joint, or else we're also thinking about getting a CV joint spreader. Apparently they're meant to be very good for getting these on also. So lots of work to do. There will be a part 2, and hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next week.